am Agent 4, the head coach of the G Tour Guides, and I am with my fellow tour guides na makikilala nyo during our tour in Metro Manila. This is our bus driver, Manong Geo, that will take good care of us while touring around Metro Manila. To enlighten you all, we are here at Quezon Memorial Circle, our first destination. Kung nakikita nyo ang malaking tower sa aking likuran, ito ay ang Quezon Memorial Circle. But it's not time para i-tour ko kayo because I'm going to tell you our summary kung ano-ano nga ba ang ating itinerary for today. So, Quezon Memorial Circle is the first destination and the second is the famous Chinatown here in Binondo. Siyempre, ang susunod ay ang sikat na Binondo Church, na kung saan madadaanan natin ito pagkalagpas ng Chinatown. Next, ay pupunta tayo ng Dambanang Rizal sa Fort Santiago at madadaanan natin ang mga kilalang destinasyon katulad na lamang ng Casa Manila. Siyempre, huwag kayong mag-alala dahil hindi kayo magugutom sa ating biyahe dahil kakain tayo sa isang sikat na heritage restaurant na kung tinatawag nilang Barbara's Heritage Restaurant. After lunch, our next destination is at National Museum and Rizal Park. Hindi makukumpleto ang ating tour kung hindi tayo pupunta sa sikat na Manila Baywalk, our last destination. Is that clear, everyone?
So, tourists, here's our bus. Pasok na kayo habang tayo nag-head count. Tara na!
And we are the tour guides for today. And we are going to talk about our first destination, which is Kazun Memorial Circle. Pwedeng-pwede tayo tumingin sa kaliwa para makita natin ang best view. Pero, hinding-hindi mangangaliwa. The National Museum of the Philippines has declared the Kazun Memorial Shrine as one of the country's national cultural treasure, the highest government distinction that can be conferred on a cultural property. The museum is located in the Kazun Memorial Circle, is open every Tuesday to Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Republic Act Number 10066 or the National Cultural Heritage Act of 2009 defines a national cultural treasure as a unique cultural property found locally, possessing outstanding
historical, cultural, artistic, and/or scientific value which is highly significant and important to the country and nation. Kazun Memorial, designed by architect Federico Ilustre of Bureau of Public Works, which is now Department of Public Works and Highways, is an equilateral triangular shrine dedicated to the late President Manuel Ruiz M. Quezon. It houses a museum at its base and serves as the mausoleum of the former president and his wife, Aurora.
The Kazun Memorial is the second national cultural treasure located in Quezon City. The shrine, which is considered as the most significant landmark of Quezon City, has 3 66-meter pylons and 66 is former President Quezon's age upon his death, which represent the 3 major islands of the Philippines.
Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao Italian artist Francisco Ricardo Morti's sculpture, the Art Deco statues of 3 angels holding Sampaguita funerary wreaths are also placed above the pylon.
The museum features the former president's personal and political belongings, books, articles, and documents, and photos from his youth until his death. It also has various rooms and interactive booths that offer information about Quezon and his family. Here are some fun things to do at the Quezon Memorial Circle. Jogging around the Quezon City Circle Park. Biking around the Quezon Memorial Shrine. Food tripping, walking, visiting museums inside the Kazun Memorial Park, and also shopping.
With our sunny weather, don't forget to bring a water to keep you hydrated. And here's a reminder, enjoy your trip and take as much pictures as you want.
Tama ka dyan, partner. Making memories with you is my favorite thing to do. And our quote for today, always remember, life is a long journey, so enjoy and make some beautiful memories along the way.
Kung kayo nang narinig, ako po ang magbibigay sa inyo ng trivia patungkol sa tour guiding. You know that we, tour guides, and other travel and tourism sectors must tell the world the great story behind our country's diverse destination, highlighting rich Filipino heritage, culture, traditions, and value. That's why we're here in front of you guys, telling you and showing you the unique beauty of Metro Manila.
Thank you for that wonderful trivia about tour guiding. Mabuhay sa inyong lahat, kami ang inyong tour guide na magbibigay kaalaman tungkol sa ating pangalawang destinasyon na tinaguriang Chinatown sa Binondo, Manila. Kung makikita nyo sa inyong bintana ay tanaw na natin ang Chinatown Arc na madadaanan sa tinatawag na Jones Bridge. So, the name comes from the Tagalog word binundok, which means mountainous due to its hilly landscape. So, Chinatown is located across the Pasig River from the walled city of Intramuros. So, it is founded by Spanish Governor Luis Perez Dasmariñas in 1594. It was originally meant for Chinese immigrants who converted Catholicism, at ito ay tinaguri ang world's oldest Chinatown district. Since then, Chinatown has changed drastically from experiencing a bloody revolution, destructive wars, to improvement and reconstruction.
Correct ka dyan, partner. That's why tinagurian itong world oldest Chinatown in Manila. Also, you know, visiting the Philippines' first ever Chinatown Museum, where you can learn about Chinatown's rich history of connections and interactive exhibits, and its rich culinary history is a must to do in order to complete your tour around in Binondo. Because they have just about everything you would want to taste. Am I right, tourists? Silip lang kayo sa bintana at makikita nyo kung gaano kaganda ang Chinatown. Pero you know, everyone, meron silang strict rule or the do's and don'ts policy na kailangan susundin when visiting the high-class establishments or sa pagpunta mo lang sa Chinatown. Just like this. You cannot touch some statue, monuments, or relics inside the Chinatown. Why? Because may batas ito na that they protects and conserves the national culture heritage. Nakakatakot talagang lumabag sa policy nito kasi may penalty ka kapag nahuli ka nilang hinawakan ng mga relics sa loob ng Chinatown. And second is, be conservative on your words, especially if it is racist words. Because, remember, the citizens living there are Chinese Filipino, which are very sensitive on those matters. So, alam nyo na ngayon ang gagawin nyo at mga di dapat gawin kapag bibisita kayo sa Chinatown.
Hi everyone, I am Agent number 7 and this is my partner, Agent number 5, and we will tour you around Chinatown's famous Binondo Church. But wait, let me tell you something. Did you know that the oldest Chinatown here in this world is located here in Binondo, Manila? Dating back to late 1500s, this place was established by the Spaniards as a settlement for Chinese immigrants.
Now if you will look into the right side, you will be able to see the Binondo Church, one of the most beautiful churches here in Manila, which stand out because of its rich history and undeniably stunning architecture.
As of writing, the Binondo Church is now open for the tourists. But since we are still in the middle of the pandemic, the church strictly follows and implements the IATF protocols, which is an interagency task force that manages emerging infection diseases in the country. So make sure to disinfect, take your temperature, then sign up or log in onto their tracer's logbook before going in. Also, don't forget to dress appropriately, wear your face mask, and be quiet at all times.
Just to give you a brief background, Binondo Church is also known as the minor Basilica of the National Shrine of St. Lorenzo Ruiz that is located in the district of Binondo, Manila. fronting the plaza of San Lorenzo Ruiz in the Philippines.
It was founded by Dominican priests in 1956 to serve their Chinese converts to Christianity, and as for the original design of this church, it was created by the talented Spanish architect Domingo de la Cruz Gonzalez. However, the original building was destroyed by the 1762 British bombardment. That is why they have rebuilt the church in the same site in 1852. But then it got damaged again for the second time during the Second World War, with only the western facade and the octagonal belfry surviving.
The church was named after the sacristan San Lorenzo Ruiz, who was born in the 1600s and died at the early age of 37 years old. He was born of a Chinese father and a Filipino mother. Trained in this church, and afterward went to a missionary in Japan and was executed there for refusing to renounce his religion.
To make our tour more interesting, I'll give you a trivia about tour guiding. Tour guiding can be called tourist guide. Tourist guide, we are the people who work in tourism and show people around in the specific area. Our role is to make the tourists feel welcome and to help them understand the things that they are seeing.
Munting paalala mga katurista, sa museo matinding ipinagbabawal na hawakan ang mga bagay-bagay na nakadisplay doon upang maiwasan ang bakas ng mga kamay at iwasan ang mga pagkasira nito.
Huwag din po tayong magdala ng mga pagkain at tubig sa loob ng museo upang maiwasan ang pagkalat nito. Mabuhay mga katurista! Ako si Agent 11 and with my partner, Agent 6, nandito ulit kami upang magbigay ng impormasyon tungkol sa damba ng Rizal. The fort is one of the most important historical sites in Manila. Several lives were lost in prison during the Spanish and Pearl and World War II. Jose Rizal, one of the Philippine national heroes, was imprisoned here before his execution in 1896. Intramuros was the center of the Spanish Empire in the Philippines, and Fort Santiago was the heart of the Spanish military.
This museum was built in 1953 and was modernized in 2013. Ang Rizal Shrine ay kasalukuyang nagpapakita ng koleksyon ng mga artifact, original na manuskripto, libro, eskultura, painting, litrato, at likhang sining mula sa personal na koleksyon ni Dr. Jose Rizal. The Fort Santiago served as barracks for Spanish artillery soldiers during Spanish colonization of the islands. These bricks ruins are part of Fort Santiago's oldest building. Built in 1593, it housed Spanish soldiers. This was where army officers and their families lived, but the building was entirely destroyed during the World War II. And now, without any further ado, allow us to tour you and with my partner Agent 11 sa ilang mga interesting na patungkol sa Rizal Shrine. Silid Paglilitis or the Trial Room is among one of the first galleries you will encounter when you enter the museum. The room features life-size statues that replicates Rizal's trial at the Cuartel de España through a dramatic light and sound presentation.
Sa Rizal prison cell, Jose Rizal spent his last hours in his cell before his execution, Bagong Bayan, Rizal Park. In his actual prison cell lies a life-size wax effigy of Jose Rizal depicting the time when he is writing his final masterpiece, The Mi Ultimo Adios. The wax sculpture was made by another national artist, Guillermo Tolentino, National Artist Wall Sculpture.
And lastly, of course, the Noli Me Tangere. Of course, Rizal Shrine has one of Jose Rizal's masterpiece. This museum has a nice copy of Noli Me Tangere.
Thank you, Agent 6 and 11, for your interesting and knowledgeable information. Hello, tourists! I am Agent 37 and I'm with my partner, Agent 36. Okay, for our next destination, you can see from the right side, the Casa Manila. Did you know that Casa Manila was built in 1981, copied from the ancestral house that once stood in Calle Habaneros? It is a lifestyle museum aimed at showcasing the domestic lifestyle of a native principalia during the Spanish colonial period.
Casa Manila is one of the most popular tourist spots in Intramuros. It is opposite the San Agustin Church and is a replica of the Spanish colonial mansion. It recreates the rich merchants' way during the Spanish colonization, showcasing period of furnitures coming from Chinese, European, and Philippine origins. Take note that certain sections such as the prayer room or the cuartos or rooms are prohibited from taking the photos.
Siguradong gutom na nga tayo, di ba? Kaya wag na natin itong patagalin. De los Reyes was brought up with a taste of elegance and a good food. Did you know that Barbara's family pioneered the fine dining and catering industry in Olongapo City? Barbara brought this fondness for gourmet cuisine to Manila in the early 1970s, starting out at a small cafe in Malate. The business soon expanded its operations to catering as well as the canteen management. Today, Barbara's is located at the Plaza San Luis complex in Intramuros, Manila. The restaurant's main entries celebrate traditional Filipino and Spanish recipes, but house's specialties are included other European-inspired dishes.
I will be your tour guide for this wonderful and knowledgeable museum tour. So let's get started! We are here at National Museum of Fine Arts, located along Padre Burgos Avenue, Ermita, Manila. Did you know that this building has been experienced a lot? Well, let me tell you its history. This neoclassical structure was constructed in 1918 during American colonial era by the two architects Ralph Daon and Antonio Toledo. And then after years, architect Juan Argano was permitted to change the layout of this building for the Philippine legislature. And then in 1926, the second regular session of the 7th Philippine legislature was opened here. In 1935, it became the National Assembly but was destroyed during the liberation of Manila.
The Museum of the Philippines is envisioned as the premier institution and repository of our heritage. The National Museum of the Philippines, along with the other museums, they were built in the early 20th century and now functions as museums that houses the National Fine Arts Collections, National Archaeological and Ethnographic Collections.
Upon entering the National Museum, you will be welcomed first by the Spallarium Hall, formerly the old House of Representative Hall, which now displays one lunar spallarium. It was brought by the government of Barcelona in 1985 until 1937. But when the Museo del Arte Moderna was burned during Spanish Civil War, it was transferred to Madrid and later on donated to the Philippines as gift of the Spanish government.
And before entering, these are the rules and regulations that you must consider also while inside the National Museum. First, that backpacks and bags that are bigger than a short bond paper must be deposited at the baggage counter. Second, food and beverages are not allowed. Third, do not lean nor touch the objects, exhibits, and arts inside the National Museum.
Magandang buhay! Ako po si Patricia, isa sa inyong magiging guide sa araw na ito dito sa Rizal Park. We would like to welcome you all to Manila. Now, I'd like to take some time to inform you about brief safety precautions. Firstly, today the temperature will be above 35 degrees. So you should make sure that you drink enough water, and we also recommend you to use sunscreen to avoid sunburn. Secondly, you should always take care of your belongings while walking in the city. And lastly, iwasan po natin magkalat ng kahit na ano pa pong kalat dito sa area. For any questions and concerns, you can always approach me and my partner anytime. Thank you. Rizal Park. What comes first in your mind when you hear this? Of course, the famous Rizal Monument. Because of its significant historical value, Rizal Park is not your normal urban park. As you walk through the area, alam mo yun, mararamdaman mo yung vibe, the scenery. It's like strolling down memory lane. So many events in Philippine history have taken place here. The execution of our national hero is one of the most notable examples. The park was a tribute to the Philippines' national hero, Jose Rizal, a doctor and novelist who was shot by firing squad at this site on December 30, 1896 on charges of fomenting local rebellion against the Spanish government. At the center of it all is the 1913 bronze Rizal Monument, situated a few meters away from the marker, indicating the actual execution site. An honor guard is on duty 24 hours a day. Behind the monument, the original Spanish version of the poem Mi Ultimo Adios is engraved, along with translations in other languages. The park is divided into 3 sections, beginning with the 16-hectare Agrifina Circle adjoining Taft Avenue, where the Department of Tourism and the National Museum of the Filipino People, formerly the Department of Finance, are located, followed by the 22-hectare park proper that extends down to Rojas Boulevard, and terminating at a 10-hectare open field across the Rojas Boulevard fronting Quirino Grandstand along the Manila Bay. Nakikita niyo ba yung flagpole na yan? Diyan na binabandera ang bandila ng mga pusong luhaan. Charot. Kidding aside, the 31-meter Philippine flagpole is called Kilometer Zero because it is where the distance of the country's towns and cities is measured from. Just beside the flagpole is Rizal Monument, where foreign leaders attend breathtaking ceremonies during state visits. On the northern side of the park is the Lights and Sounds of Rizal, an audiovisual and 3-dimensional diorama of Rizal's execution, consisting of the life-size sculptures by Eduardo Castrillo. For more information about the history and how the Rizal Park was built, let us listen to my partner as she tours us around.
Thank you for that, Agent 29. And again, I'm Agent 30, and welcome to Rizal Park. Did you know that in 1902, Daniel Burnham, an architect and a city planner, chose Luneta as the American Government Center? Among the buildings he designed were the Senate Building, now the National Art Gallery, the Finance Building, now the National Museum of the Filipino People, and the Agricultural Building, formerly Department of Tourism, now the National Museum of the Natural History. If you look here, you can see Luneta Park or Rizal Park as we know today. During the American period, a monument of Dr. Sarizal was built, and by 1913, Luneta Park was changed to Rizal Park. Up until today, the park remains a flagship of freedom and courage as numerous political rallies, oath-taking, national events are held within the park. When historic events are not taking the limelight, everyday activities keep it alive and bustling. Joggers at dawn, afternoon concert, lovers strolling at sunset, family picnics on weekends, and many more. Everyday people come, people go. With their memories and monument, Rizal Park will be kept alive and going for centuries to come.
We arrive at our destination. I would like to welcome you all to the lovely coastal seafront overlooking Manila Bay in the city of Manila, Philippines. It is known as a fantastic leisure spot and a favorite destination to see a spectacular sunset. The area, which is packed with open-air cafes and local entertainers, is packed until the earliest hours of the morning. The 2-kilometer-long pedestrian walk at the right side promenade stretches along the Rojas Boulevard from the Children's Museum, or locally known as Museo de Pambata, besides the U.S. Embassy of the Philippines. The Baywalk is famous for its golden, peaceful bay waters and abundant nature, all set against a backdrop of buildings. All day long, the boulevard is alive with activity, including singing and dancing performances by local street artists, local food booths, cafe, and food bands, including the artists, acrobats, and other performers. The sidewalk, which is surrounded by palm trees and colorful lampposts, also features benches where people can rest and spend quality time. On summer weekends, you'll see the kids bicycling and skating. Besides, also you can explore and shop at the famous SM Mall of Asia, which is a short distance from here.
In 2020, a beach called Manila Baywalk Dolomite Beach was constructed along the shores of the Baywalk. The program for creating the artificial beach was launched in January 2019 under the management of Secretary of Environment and Natural Resources, Ruiz. But as of January 4, 2022, the site has been open to the public, but has same policies in angle of pandemic. These are unvaccinated visitors are prohibited, minus age 11 and below will no longer be allowed, with strict implementation of 1 day before rule for online registration. The beach will be open from 6:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with 1 hour visiting intervals and 30 minutes breaks in between, and the maximum 300 visitors per batch will be entertained. Do bring something to cool you up. The temperature in Manila can get really high, especially during the summer days that coupled with the population density in Manila. Expect that you will be sweating buckets when you are outdoors. You can get away with the occurrence of your own car. They take you a taxi ride to your destination, but otherwise, make sure you always bring with you a towel, a portable electric fan, or a bottle of water, or all of three then. If you wanna be super prepared, get an extra shirt.
And the most important of all, don't forget to enjoy your trip and go back home with the knowledge and memorable experience not just here in Manila Bay, but at the rest of your stay here in the Philippines.
Ayan, nakarating na tayo sa ating last destination, ang Manila Baywalk. Kung makikita nyo sa inyong mga bintana kung gaano kaganda ang sunset sa Manila Baywalk. You can take a walk and picture on our last destination. But before that, let's do some head counts while taking off the bus so that I can check and make sure that we're complete. So, that's all for today, tourists. Again, thank you everyone for cooperating in our tour. I hope you all enjoy and educate. You can now have your time, and if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask us.